Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Danilo Caprick here, aka the best dressed man in tech sales. Don't forget it. And in today's video, we're going to talk about a very important topic, you guys. We're going to address specifically how do we keep our sales pitch short, simple, to the point, and make it super easy to understand. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. The first thing we need to do in order to make our sales pitch short, simple, and easy to understand is we need to find a person, place, or thing that everybody has a high degree of familiarity with, okay? Let me give you an example. For example, I sell a data platform. That's really complex if you have no familiarity with that field or that space, okay? But here's the thing, what some of my customers do with this data platform is they do predictive analytics. Basically meaning they make predictions about business, okay? For example, hospitals are predicting who's gonna get sick before it happens. Banks predict who's going to commit fraud before it happens, right? I can go on. But here's the thing. For me, the thing I'm going to choose that most people have a high degree of familiarity with is a crystal ball, right? Most people know when you say crystal ball, they get the idea. It's a visual that easily pops up into their mind, and they know it's something that a fortune teller would use to make a prediction. So when people ask me, hey, what do you do? I tell them I help businesses make predictions. It's something that they easily understand and also causes some curiosity, like, really? What kind of predictions? What do you mean? Right? And then I can go into the specifics. So that's the first thing we need to do, guys, because if I say, oh, I sell predictive analytics software, they're gonna be like, okay, right? It's gonna be kind of awkward. They're not gonna really know what that is. So the first thing we have to do is pick a person, place, or thing that most people have that high degree of familiarity with. That way, when you say it, they have a visual that pops into their mind and they can see it and easily understand it. The second thing we need to do in order to make this super clear in people's mind is we need to paint the picture more with outcomes. Okay, what I mean is you need to tell people at least 2 to 3 outcomes that are simple and easy to understand that your software or whatever you sell actually produces for the customer. So again, in my case, I'm gonna share 3 specific outcomes. I'm gonna tell them, yeah, I help people make predictions. For example, hospitals want to predict who's going to get sick before it happens. Banks want to predict who's going to commit fraud before it happens. Maybe this clothing store wants to predict how many shirts they're going to sell next month, right? Those are simple outcomes that people can easily understand, right? Because everybody knows what a shirt is. Everyone's been to a clothing store. Everybody knows a bank, right? Everyone's been to the bank. Everyone's gotten that text message from the bank saying, hey, is that fraudulent activity, right? And everyone knows what a hospital is. So again, the key here, guys, use simple outcomes. Try to use 2 or 3 just in case they don't get the first one. And that will give them even more clarity into exactly what you sell and what you sell produces for the customer at the end. To make this more clear, I'm going to give you guys an example from one of the past products that I used to sell a couple of years back, which was in the category of research and advisory services. And when I say that right now, even research and advisory services, you're probably like, what the heck is research and advisory services? Right? That's what I first thought when I got into it. So I used to work for a company called Gartner, and Gartner, if you never heard of it, is one of the largest research and advisory firms out there. And basically what they do is they produce research on every single vendor within IT, and they make this research for chief information officers. But if I said that in a crowd of people at a bar or a restaurant or something like that, they'd probably have no idea what I do. So here's how I used to explain Gartner to my parents who are immigrants, to people who don't have any familiarity or experience with tech. This is exactly what I would say. I'd say, think about Gartner as a giant library filled with books and information. But there's a catch. Inside this library, all the books are under the topic of IT. All the way from how do I solve this specific IT security challenge to who should I buy this software from? And what people can do is they can read any book in the library, and if that book that they read sparks any questions in their mind, I'll actually go forward and put them on the phone with the author who wrote the book. That way they can ask additional questions. And so pretty much what I do is I sell library cards or access to this information. That way decision makers can read the things they need to read about and make the decisions they need to make. So that's what it really takes, guys. In order to make your sales pitch simple, easy to understand, and short, all you need to do is 2 things. You need to first pick something that people have a high degree of familiarity with, okay? This needs to be a person, place, or thing that's easily recognizable. Again, in the examples that I just gave you, we talked about a crystal ball, right? Everyone knows what that is. And then we also picked the library and the library card, which everyone kind of knows what those things are too. So Pick something that people have that high degree of familiarity with. That's going to help them generate a visual in their mind, which will make it super clear and easy to understand. Once you pick out that person, place, or thing that people have that high degree of familiarity with, what you need to do then is think about what are the outcomes that your product, service, or whatever you sell actually produces for the customer at the end of the day, okay? And you want to give at least 1 to 3 max. That way you have a couple of options and give more people more chances to understand what the outcomes are that you actually produce. So again, after we get that person, place, or thing that people have that high degree of familiarity with, what we need to do then is paint the picture even more clear with the outcomes that they will receive should they buy our software or service or whatever it is that we sell. So that's it, guys. Those are the 2 things we need to do in order to keep our sales pitch short, simple, easy to understand. And if you follow these things, you're gonna find that when you're around family or people who have no familiarity with tech, and you tell them what you sell by, again, choosing that thing that people have that high degree of familiarity with, and you give a couple of outcome statements, people are gonna all of a sudden click and be like, wow, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I get what you do. All right. Instead of saying, yeah, that's cool, right? So again, hope this was valuable content. I hope the examples were clear and gave you an idea of how you can do this for whatever you sell. And with that said, guys, if you found value in the content today, please hit the subscribe button below. Also, if you're not doing so already, go follow me on LinkedIn. And last but not least, if you are trying to break into tech, or if you're already in tech and you want to level up your sales skills, go ahead and join us at the B2B Syndicate. See what we got cooking up over there. All right, with that, guys, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video. Take it easy now.